Anthony, thank you very much for coming. We just wanted to get your views on how can sports clubs and teams enhance game day experience, especially with the much more improved TV offering that is now basically competing at cannibalizing game day revenues. While we're on the point of fan engagement, is it just game day, or do they have to look at ways to do season-long fan engagement?
Okay, I think the answer is yes to both. I mean, so in a nutshell, when the experience at home becomes better than going to the game, then of course people are going to vote with their feet as they've got other demands on their time, be it other sports, family commitments, whatever keeps them occupied. So the connectivity issue becomes really important. If it's really important to you to be tweeting to your fellow cricket fans about the six that someone's hit, or your fellow football fans about the sending off, and you can't do that in a stadium, and that's important to you, well, people are going to start to stay at home, and for obvious reasons. In terms of the long-term game, it's like anything. If you're Tesco, you have a loyalty card, and you speak to people every week, you look at their consumption habits, and you send them offers. What rights holders have is they have content and they have rewards. So if you want to be people to go back, give them offers, give them tickets, give them behind the scenes, give them access to their money can't buy players if they come a number of times and they engage in different ways. And it's not just about the first team. It's come along to a reserve game, go away, other ways that you can reward the club, and then the club rewards people in that way. But firstly, connectivity. You've got that at home, you need to figure out how you get that in the arena to drive loyalty there and protect audiences, and reward people, of course, like any other organisation would, over a 38-week season.
And a second point that was mentioned in the panel, this is how you engage fans, and especially cross-border, because there's conflicting, in essence, perhaps messages that are passed along. There was also an example given by Richard. How easy is it to monetize, taking a step further than engagement, cross-border? So outside your border, especially when you can't put the product live in front of them other than a couple friendly matches or things that Manchester United and the rest of the EPL teams are doing these days. How easy is it, or how hard is it? What are the challenges that are facing?
Well, firstly, you've got to know where they live. So you've got to throw something out there and say, we're here, come and engage with us. And I think the obvious platforms are Facebook and Twitter. You can host those, and then you identify they are. Then you go, actually, our footprint's quite big in North America. Then you go, what can we give those, and what can you put behind a paywall? The obvious routes are merchandise. So if you know where they are, you can then say to them, well, actually, here's an offer on kit exclusive to our North American followers on Twitter. And then you can say, well, actually, how important is it to you to know the behind-the-scenes footage? So things that we might take for granted here domestically in the UK, if we take football, we get Sky Sports and now BT Sport giving us all the transfer speculation else. If those people don't know the history, and we can give them previously seen footage that sits with outside a broadcast deal, well, actually, that might go behind a paywall, and it might not be massive. Micropayments, 50 cents here, $1 here, 4 dirhams here, 4 euros over here. That's the way it's done. And what we might think as low value in the domestic market is high value, because you can't get it. The normal broadcast media aren't giving you that, and that's the opportunity for rights holders, clubs, and federations.
And would it, taking it a step further, content in local language, as it was suggested in the panel, is that something that you think really drives through fan engagement?
Yeah, you have to engage in people's terms. I was mentioning previously on the panel about the EuroLeague basketball. They're in the process of creating a blogger outreach program that talks to people in certain languages. Let's take the example, the sponsors, Turkish Airlines. Very difficult for them to speak to teams in Greece in English. Reach out to them in Greek. It resonates with them, and they're close to the fan. Otherwise, you can't. You've got to meet them on their level, and it's almost. I raised a point in the panel. Globalization and social media go hand in hand, because people are basically consumers of content, and they're asking to be engaged on their own terms. And format of games. We looked at 2020 cricket. They've had to redefine themselves. You could argue for a shorter snapshot social world, because actually they've had to redefine their product. Not saying it's right, but it's what they've had to do. So of course you have to engage in your own language.